Hey everybody, Nick Pahr here with you again today at Spectrum Lanes in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and I am here to introduce the new Subzero Forge. Really excited about this solid symmetric piece added to the line. It's going to be in the medium heavy category, just to the left of the Evoke on the ball guide, which means it's going to be a little bit earlier and smoother overall. It does utilize the exact same cover stock, the Leverage MXC cover. So like I said, it is a solid, but it's a symmetric version compared to the Evoke. So the Evoke's got the asymmetry in it, which means you can do a little bit more as far as drillings, and you'll see a different shape overall. Now this Subzero is going to be round, very smooth and early, and it's going to be one of the pieces that I love to use on the fresh when I know that I need to control the back ends if they're a little too flat, like they're just a little too fast down lane, or I don't want to have to force myself so far left because everything's just jumping, so sideways out the end of the pattern. This is going to allow me to get really close to the friction and have it blend it really well, as long as there's enough oil, because like I said, it is for medium heavy oil. And this ball just really reminds me of like combination of, say, maybe the Forge Flare, because it is still in the Forge line. A little bit less cover overall, so it's not going to dig and be so early and bleed as much energy down lane. You'll still see plenty of motion down lane at the end of the pattern, similar to like maybe a Revolt Havoc, which had similar core numbers. And it also reminds me of like the original Forza, which was one of my favorites. Just that really, really controllable piece that I know what it's going to do. It's going to always pick up for me in the oil, but just going to be a nice blendable motion down lane. So the first Subzero Forge you're going to see me throw is my typical pinup layout. This is 55 by 5.5 by 35. This is going to be a little bit faster down lane just because it is pinup, so it's going to flare a little bit more and force me a little bit more into the puddle, which is okay because like I said, this is a solid cover stock and I don't mind being in the oil. So it's going to seem a little quick down lane at times when it encounters friction just because it is trying to grab on the lane a lot more. But I'm going to definitely be a little bit further left and throw it at the friction and we'll see what happens. And the second Subzero Forge you're going to see me throw is my favorite pin down layout, especially on these bigger, strong, earlier symmetric balls. So this is 45 by 5 3/4 by 65. So this should be a rounder motion overall, really continuous. When I get close to the friction, it should blend it really well and be just really round and controllable for me. So comparing the Evoke to the Subzero Forge, obviously they are the same cover, but as I alluded to earlier, it is an asymmetric core in the Evoke, so the drilling angle definitely matters much more compared to on the Subzero. So as you'll see, this is a little bit weaker drilling angle for me as far as where the mass bias is in relation to my vertical axis line and my thumb. So that's why you'll see I'm a little bit straighter, closer to the friction compared to the Subzero, but it is a little bit faster change direction down lane compared to the Subzero, so I'm able to see that back end motion out of the asymmetry in the Evoke compared to the Subzero. Comparing the Pride Dynasty to the Subzero Forge, you'll see that I'm a lot further right, closer to the friction. This is a much weaker cover compared to the Subzero, even though they're both solids. That Dynasty has a weaker core, even though it's asymmetric, but it's a lot less intermediate differential, so that's why you don't see that change of direction be so violent, maybe like an Evoke or something else that's a solid with an asymmetric core.